we are back, and I'm coming out of the gate swinging. I'm just saying right now. Now, these three gentlemen in front of me, and a pretty lady over there, she's just not on camera. They have a con coming to Dalton, Georgia.
That's correct.
And it's a 3-day con, which God bless you, because that is a lot of work.
Yep.
We know.
Thanks.
So I can't say the name right.
Mhm.
And every time I try to say it, I've got literally 5 to 10 people. That's not how you say that. I'm like, okay, you going over to Lafayette, and you tell them people how to say it, and then they'll come over and tell me wrong anyway.
It's Lafayette.
Yeah, Lafayette, right? No, it's Lafayette because it's spelled. So how do we say the name?
I'm curious to see. You want to give it a go? You want to give it
METHROCON?
So, like we said,
I'm like, oh yeah, that's all I got.
it's Metropolis and Gotham mashed together. So say
Matra,
thumb.
thumb,
Metrothum.
Oh,
Yeah.
I was saying it wrong, but that's okay.
And what's crazy is that they say Metrotham, Metro Ham,
Right.
So we leaned into that, and our mascot is Metro Ham. It's a pig with a superhero cape.
That is okay. You got me. That is absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah.
So how long has this con been going?
So actually, 2018 is kind of when it started.
Okay.
And my name's Mark. The class.
Oh yeah. So because of this, I'm gonna let everybody introduce yourselves.
I'm the classically trained Mark, aka Nacho Libre, the founder of Metrothum Con.
I am Keith Smart, but you can call me LT Money, and I am the co-chair.
And I am Alan Shockey, and I am with operations.
Do you like wearing the stretchy pants?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Stretchy pants. I love that.
Yeah.
So okay, go back. 2018.
Mhm.
You just woke up and go, I'm gonna do a con.
It wasn't as simple as that. So
Okay.
so it basically
Hold on.
started.
And I'm gonna piss half the world off because
Right.
of he's gonna get there, but I kind of jumped in there. Go ahead. Sorry.
So the original idea was to open a nerd theme like pub restaurant kind of thing. I was
Yeah.
going to call it Metrothum City, and like the bar area was going to be Gotham themed, be very dark and gritty, and like the area where you sit to eat and everything
Yeah.
was going to be more Metropolis, more vibrant, more
Yes.
lively. The waiting area was going to have arcade machines and Pokemon characters where you can meet and greet. So that way, if you had to wait an hour, didn't feel like you waited an hour. There's a
Right.
lot of fun things going on.
Yeah.
I was going to invite celebrity guests and things like that to the actual restaurant. Very Comic-Con like, but
Yes.
a restaurant. So I was looking for a nice place in like downtown Chattanooga area. And the place I kind of landed on was where they used to have the Genghis Grill.
Oh,
Luckily, I did not get that building because it collapsed.
Oh,
where
my.
where cheeseburger and everything.
Yeah.
So it's like just finding a place to house that was very difficult. So I pivoted,
Gotcha.
and I'm like, okay, what's the next best thing? Let's do a Comic-Con.
Heck yeah.
Yeah. And so it kind of arose from that. This is our 6th in person, 7th overall. We lost a year due to COVID, so we did a virtual convention. So still going strong.
All right. Get another shot.
Yeah.
Drink another pill. I don't know. Whatever you want to do. Wear a mask.
Right.
Then that's kind of funny. Not because here's okay. You're gonna learn about Nerd Talk.
Yeah.
We bunny trail super easy here.
Okay.
But those kids in these cons have been wearing masks forever.
Yeah.
So it wasn't nothing new to them,
Yeah.
right?
Well, there's a thing called con crud, right?
Oh,
That's a thing.
a bit. I suffered from that
Yeah.
several times.
Yep. I mean, emergency, vitamin C tabs, hydrate, and please bring deodorant.
Oh my God.
I'll say that to everybody. If you go to a convention, please bring deodorant and take a shower.
Yeah, showers are a good thing.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're out in the parking lot and you're sleeping in your car,
Right.
go to the YMCA
Sure.
or Planet Fitness or something. Just take a shower.
Or at least bring some of the little towelette things so
Or Febreze. Yeah. Auto Febreze.
Yeah.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Just
Right.
Right. Yeah. See. Next year, portable showers out in the parking lot.
There we go. That's a
$5.
That's a money maker right there.
$5. Take a hot shower.
Yeah.
I do that just for Haas because I'm going in, get sweaty, come back out, gotta take a shower.
Yep.
But of course, then again, I don't sit there and spend hours putting gear on.
Right.
I mean, some of these people come and it's like amazing. I mean,
Yeah.
and there's some you're like, man, you should have never left the house with that on. But hey, I am not an all inclusive guy.
Yeah.
I pick on everybody. I don't care who you are. color you are,
Right.
tall, short,
Doesn't matter.
but I love you.
Yeah.
And we one year because we do a lot of cons, right? One where and we noticed, and we're going to get back to the con, I promise.
Yeah.
But we noticed a lot of people were acting just not themselves. It's like that year. There was what was this? 20? No, it was 18
Okay.
in Tampa, and everybody just wasn't. So I went out and bought one of those spinny wheels
Mm-hmm.
and put a free hug, whatever, affirmations, and we did that.
Yep.
And we had a line around, and they were coming, and people you didn't know, come give me a hug. I give them a hug, or I would, or it was not just me; it was a whole bunch of us. But
Yeah.
we did that, and it was amazing. The event guy came over and said, "I don't know what you did, but there's a different energy in here." I said, because everybody needs to know they're loved. I do.
Exactly.
I am an inclusive guy,
Yeah.
but I make fun of people, so I'm going to love you, but I'm going to bust your balls.
So
That is just the way it is.
we were just at MomoCon in Atlanta the
How
past
was
4 days. It was fun. It's tiring, the setup process and tear down process, because we have a pretty elaborate setup, a little bit more than some of the others.
Yeah.
But we always bring the prize wheel, like the
Oh,
spin
yeah.
wheel.
That's
One of the things is, high five, hugs. I gave a lot of hugs throughout the weekend.
Right.
People love that.
Yeah.
We
You
gave-
literally see their spirit just
Yep.
and I always whisper, you're loved, you're wanted, don't ever think about anything differently.
Yeah.
We all love you. And that's the kind of stuff that we were all telling them. It was amazing. These kids almost one girl cried. She's like, I'm like, you're loved.
Exactly.
Without you, we couldn't be here.
And
Right?
bring it back to the convention. That's why we do this show,
Right.
Is to create a place for everybody to kind of come together. Every opening ceremonies, I think, I say, hey, let's leave religion, politics, and everything else at the door. Right now, we're focusing on everything that we have in common, like our love for these fandoms, and let's just have a good weekend.
Yeah. So what is the theme for this year?
Yeah. So it's controversial.
Oh, you ain't shitting. It's controversial.
I knew it would be, but I'd really never seen a mashing of the two together. You see them separate, sure,
All the time.
but this year's theme is METHROCON Episode 6, Trek Wars. So Star Trek versus Star Wars kind of theme. So we have celebrity guests from both franchises. Our programming content touches on both franchises. We have a Captain Kirk's dating game, so that's going to be a lot of fun.
Oh my Lord, yeah.
Jedi training academies for adults and kids. This year is the 20th anniversary of Revenge of the Sith.
Yes.
So we got something cool planned for that. It's the 30th anniversary of Star Trek Voyager. We got Tim Russ, who's Tuvok from Voyager. So we got something fun planned for that.
And he pronounced the name correctly. I saw that on
He did. Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
Did he really?
He did.
Because I still can't say it right now, and I said it a while ago, right? So there you go.
METHROCON.
Metrotham.
There you go.
It's stuck in my head now.
That's it.
Metrotham.
But yeah, there's a lot of, with Trek Wars, there's so much history behind those two franchises.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't know where you guys started. I know probably Star Trek for you. I've always been a Star Wars guy. I was born in '83. I think that's when
God, I'm older
Return
than
of the
all of you.
Jedi came out.
Jeez.
Don't feel bad. It's okay.
Yeah.
Age is nothing but a number, right?
That's
what
where
they
I
say.
started.
Age is nothing but a number.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
All right. Whatever.
Tell Bill that.
Yeah.
He's really living that age ain't nothing but a thing, baby. I'm just saying.
Right.
You know what I'm talking about, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Man, he's what, 90?
He's 86.
Is he 86?
86, and she's 25.
Oh, okay.
Or something
Okay.
like that. Bill
Yeah.
Belichick.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, Belichick.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
thought
yeah.
you were talking about Shatner.
No, I know it's
No,
about
yeah.
Okay.
You're talking about someone taking it out. It's just a thing.
I
Okay.
got you. I got you.
That's
Yeah. But anyway, I see again. We bunny trail. It's
Yeah.
very bad. We're very bad at it.
yeah. No worries. But Star Trek, Star Wars, storied franchises. I grew up with Star Wars, but I got into Star Trek with Next Generation.
Oh,
Captain Picard he's an OG, man. There's nothing better than Sir Patrick Stewart.
Oh no. Shatner's away. But
You think Oh, we're gonna have a
But see,
conversation.
okay. So, what was your first? What was your first space movie to get you going?
It was the original Star Trek.
Star Wars.
Star Wars. Okay. So 80s. You were born in the 80s,
Yep.
I was born in the 70s.
70s. Yeah.
70s.
Okay. So we're kind of close. I was born in the 60s. Mine was 1999.
Okay.
That was the first space movie that I went, oh, that is so cool. We're living on the moon, man.
Okay.
That's awesome, right?
Yeah.
And then next thing you know, Star Trek came out.
Yep.
And Uhura. Dude,
I agree.
there was nobody on TV that
agree.
held a candle. Well, other than Daisy Duke.
Yeah.
But no, you know, but so it's kind of funny. Before she passed, I have a picture with her.
I saw in the opening.
Oh yeah. So and after that, we became friends, and we just texted. She loved my beard.
Mhm.
And matter of fact, her handler kept going, "You got to let him go." And she goes, "No,
No.
I'm not.
I'll just keep him there.
He's gonna stay right here." And we did. We sat and talked.
Yeah.
So she was my first crush.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I loved her to death. So, but anyway, Star Wars was good. I mean, I saw it in the theaters. That's how freaking old I am. I actually stood in line, standed.
What was that like? I would have loved
It
to have
stunk.
the atmosphere.
Oh, dude, it's like cons.
Yeah.
Oh, dude, it was because we're all hippies. Well, I wasn't hippie. I was young, but all the hippies were there,
Yeah.
and that was the free love and all this kind of stuff. And it did not smell good, but it
I
a lot of pot.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah.
But it was awesome. I mean, the excitement in that line. Everybody was like, "Oh my God!" Because this is something
Never
that
seen
we
anything like that.
never seen before.
Yep.
I mean, ever. And Christ, what came out the year before that? Midway.
Yeah.
So we were all like jazzed up because we beat the Japanese and blah blah blah. Now they now they're our friends. Thank God. But it was a very exciting time.
Yeah.
Because it was new. It was. They weren't remaking another Western.
Right.
They weren't doing it. They just weren't doing that. And boy, coming out of that, when it was over, that theater was dead silence. Like,
Bet.
what did we just watch? And half of us are like, let's go back in line.
Yeah.
Let's sneak back in.
Were there like standing ovations? Kind of like a lot
No.
of times
So
you see nowadays.
So nowadays, like remember when the number one came out.
Yeah.
The true, not. So when it came out, end of it, man, everybody was like, yeah.
Yeah.
We're sitting there going, what did we just watch?
Yeah.
Not in a bad way. We're like, holy cow.
Yeah.
It was really, it really made you. And then now the second one, yes.
Yep.
Everybody cheered. Everybody was like, yeah.
It was anticipation.
Yeah.
You're
And,
right.
Yeah.
and there's the whole trope of there's not too many franchises that the sequels, it gets progressively worse as the sequels progress. But Empire Strikes Back is universally known as probably better than the original.
Yeah. The digital effects the effects were better. They really weren't digital, but they were some, but not
Right.
a lot. Back in the day, we were still tape to tape. And,
Yep.
I
I think people were excited to see more Vader in that one.
we wanted more Vader.
Yeah.
We really did because it left us wanting, which is what it was supposed to do. Now, there was some effects. You're like, well, that was hokey,
Yeah.
but who cared? It was like, wow, this is
But looking at it through the lenses of that time, you probably didn't notice it as much.
No.
Like when I go back and watch it now, I love it so much it doesn't matter that it's
Right.
hokey.
Right.
But
part of our world.
right, yeah, and I just try to put myself.
That's
through
like
the
having
lens.
that ugly cousin.
Yeah,
It's okay. It's part of our world.
Right.
We'll love it anyway. You know what I'm saying? I'm just
I guess we got to.
See, a lot of people didn't realize that was 3, 4, and 5.
Yeah.
They
No.
just figured, hey, this first one, that's number one.
Yes, number one.
So there was so much that took place with, Luke finding out that Vader was his father, and people were just like, wait, what?
Yeah.
What?
Well, yeah.
People always get that line wrong.
Oh,
There was always that question. There's, when he says that in Empire, I am your father.
Mhm.
Everybody was wondering how.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did mom and dad get divorced? What happened?
Right. Yeah.
Was there a bad split?
Exactly.
I didn't know this.
And you don't know why he wears that suit. You don't know what
Yeah.
really Jedi are.
Yeah.
And Sith or any of that stuff really. So
Well, there were people back then that knew what the Jedi were, because that came from a different period of time. I mean, the Jedi it came from it was, if I'm right, the English side, because they had the back then there were knights and they were literally called Jedi.
Yeah,
so-
yeah.
But it was a longer version of that. I believe. I hope I'm getting that right. If Anthony was here, I'd be corrected already, and Mark would be like,
Oh my goodness.
"Stop talking, John." But yeah, but we just didn't know what to expect.
Yeah.
But by the second one, oh my God,
Yeah,
we were
it was
ready, and it was like, we want more. And after the third one,
Yeah.
we're like, oh my God, this is great, and then nothing.
Nothing.
It was like crickets.
Until what was it?
1999.
Yeah. And they were literally waiting for digital. They were waiting for the special effects to catch up,
Right.
because he knew that he couldn't go any further with the way they were doing it.
Exactly.
The models, and I mean, if something get fired, you see a little etching there outside. They're like, damn it, I can see that now.
Yeah.
I'm catching on.
Yeah.
And
If it wasn't for Timothy Zahn, who wrote Heir to the Empire, the very first Star Wars expanded universe,
right.
if it wasn't for him and Dark Horse Comics expanding that universe, so we had, if it wasn't for the comics, if it
Yeah.
wasn't for Timothy Zahn, we wouldn't have an expanded universe
Right.
to go back on and look at it until we got another movie.
Yeah.
That's what we depended on.
Yeah.
That was the space filler, and then once we got to, episode 1, people crapped on that series, right? And now after the sequel trilogy, not to be too controversial,
Be controversial. I love it. Train wrecks are awesome.
with Ray and Poe and Finn and all those, they're like, wow, the prequel trilogy was much better than we thought in
Yes.
comparison to that,
Yeah.
So the Star Wars is a fandom divided right now. It's
It is.
crazy. Either you're traditional, old school, you love the OG stuff, and you found appreciation for the prequels, but you hate the sequel trilogy, or you're a Disney Star Wars fan, you love the sequel trilogy, and the old stuff is just
And I'm that weird guy in the middle. I love it all.
Yeah.
And actually, and unfortunately, Disney once Disney truly acquired everything, in my opinion, could have done better on certain things.
Sure.
Disney was losing me completely. If it wasn't for Mandalorian coming along,
Exactly.
I was done.
I was.
I bought all the Star Wars.
Yep.
I have the set, right, and I have it digitally, and I have it on DVD, because DVD will last a little bit longer. Even digital, I'm worried about, because I think when the light goes out, you're going to lose all that.
You'll lose all that.
We all have a TV, and we all have a old DVD player.
Yep.
And watch them. So it is what it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, I literally, Mandalorian brought me back in, and then all the other, like the Book of Boba Fett, and that's kept me. And then I never thought I would love the animation side, but I love like the 8, or was it
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars, and getting to watch all that. It allowed me to go deeper, because again, I'm not a deep diver. I watch things. When I go to watch a movie, I walk in, my brain's shut off, and I want to be entertained.
Yeah.
And if it entertains me, it's good, right?
Yeah.
So
People are curious by nature. We want to know.
Yeah.
And Clone Wars filled in a lot of those gaps.
and then
they're like,
was it Rebel?
Rebels.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Rebels was good.
Yep.
And then the
Bad Batch.
Bad Batch. Dude, I
Yeah.
love that.
Bad Batch
That
is
is
good.
I'm like, if you ever stop,
Yeah.
I am really gonna like, okay, Disney, you suck. But hey, I'll be able to be kind of nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So back to the con.
Mhm.
So let's go day one.
Day one.
Day one, opening ceremony.
Yep.
What's going on?
Yeah, so we have opening ceremonies on Friday, the 20th. We kind of open up for VIPs at 1. The actual con opens up to everybody at 2 p.m. Opening ceremonies follow shortly after that, where we kind of set the tone for everything. You'll probably see us on stage, and a lot of the guests will come up there and say hello to everybody, kind of set the tone for the weekend. And then we kind of let everybody go and disperse and enjoy all the fun fandom panels and go meet their favorite celebrities. I don't know about you guys, but the celebrity I'm most forward looking to.
It's me. I know,
you.
Mark. It is. I know. I'm sorry.
Absolutely.
Control yourself, or right. I'll sign something for you.
I was fangirling, behind the scenes there.
No, you're fangirl about all the crap.
Yeah. I mean, if you saw my basement,
You give me a run for my money.
Yeah. Yeah. But Roger Christian, we were talking about the OG Star Wars
Yeah.
and how the special effects and things he's the creator of the lightsaber. He created the interior of the Millennium Falcon.
Yeah.
And he was the second unit director for Return of the Jedi and A New Hope. No, not A New Hope.
Phantom
Phantom
Menace.
Menace.
But R2D2 as well, right?
Yeah, that's crazy.
Come on, man.
Like he worked side by side with George. I'm gonna pick his brain. I may fangirl just a little bit because he has so much knowledge about something I love so much.
Yeah. How old is he now? He's in his
God.
80s?
Late
I would
80s,
imagine.
yeah.
Yeah.
90s, something
Yeah.
like that.
But we got some really cool like saber vendors and stuff that'll be there.
Okay,
too,
so I like saber vendors.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, at my house is where my sabers. I've got literally 9 sabers, and I've got as many. I have every master, every main, including Windu. I have the
okay.
yeah. I've got oh yeah. Dude, I love saber guys.
We have the voice of Mace Windu from Clone Wars will be there.
No,
Yeah.
that's
C.C. Carson.
Yeah.
that is all. See, and this is where my other nerds will make fun of me.
Mhm.
I know the voice guys are very, 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 very important.
Yep.
But I don't hold them up here like I do the actors, and I should because I started audio. That's where I actually started my career as an audio guy.
Right.
So, but I'm getting to learn and they beat me over the head with you got to know this guy, you need to meet this guy, you got to know this. I'm like, okay, I'll get there.
Yeah, voice acting and anime in general is just so popular.
Yeah.
Especially among the American crowds. You go to these conventions like MomoCon, it's an anime and gaming convention,
Yeah.
and people are just ravenous over the anime stuff. And I was introduced to it in like '93 with Sailor Moon and Dragon Ball Z on Toonami.
Master Roshi.
Yeah, you're right. That's exactly what he said. But that kind of started the boom, and I love anime. I love Star Wars, Star Trek. I love everything, and that's
Yeah.
why we're a multi-fandom convention. Yeah, we have something for everybody.
That's it.
And it is. I went to the website and I looked at it. First, I'm like, when I contacted you guys, hey, we're a production company.
Yeah.
We do this all over the country and anything like that. And you're like, yeah, look, have you there? And
Yep.
I really started looking. I'm like, God, Lord, you really do. You just absorb it all.
Right.
And I love the theme. The theme this year, that's really what got me.
Yeah.
I'm like, Trek Wars. I'm like, heck yeah, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, and my so three of the other nerds, they're all Star Wars.
Mhm.
And well, one's kind of on the borderline. I'm a Star Trek guy,
Yeah.
so I love Star Trek. But it's what I grew up with.
Right.
Star Wars wasn't a thing until and I watched every episode of Star Trek in the beginning, like probably a million times, and that's no joke. That's all it would play in my house is Star Trek.
Yeah.
So I liked it.
Star Trek, to me, and we've talked about this before, I think the storyline, the storytelling in it is far superior
Yeah.
to Star Wars.
Yep.
Star Wars is more beautiful to watch. It's more colorful,
It
more
is.
vibrant. There's a mysticism, with
Yep.
the Force and the Jedi and the Sith and all that. But, Star Trek is very realistic of what we would evolve to,
Or
as a human society.
we would hope all
Right. Or, we could de-evolve.
it's then we get it. And that's kind of funny you say that
Yeah.
because that's one of the arguments that we always have is like, would that type of society truly work?
Right.
Right.
Where there's no need for monetary
Right,
things.
right.
Everybody's taken care of.
Right.
We can replicate food. Nobody goes hungry.
Or the realistic side of it would it be like Star Wars?
Right.
Everybody's out for everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Mad Max.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Open the Thunderdome.
Yep. So I don't know. That's always been the big debate on our shows is like, well, would it really truly,
Right.
And I'm going again. I pick on everybody. I was like, well, it's DEI in the future.
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah. Star Trek's very political.
Yeah.
very
Yeah.
super.
There's a military aspect to it.
Right,
The
right.
Navy. And he would know all about that. But I think Star Trek from a storytelling standpoint is far superior. I enjoy both
Okay.
almost equally, but for different reasons.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
I do love them both, but Star Trek is my
Yeah.
just because they have it.
Star Trek, you have more variety. You can pick which series you actually want to watch and then continue it on.
Yeah.
I mean,
All right, so let's get real controversial.
Yeah, let's do it.
Favorite Star Trek series?
Enterprise.
Wow.
Scott Bakula.
I did not
He
expect
really like that.
Scott Bakula did a really good job. for
Okay.
him.
Is that the one with the pole?
No.
Is that how you say it? Which one was that?
That would be Space Nine.
Nine.
No, it's a pole. Jolene Blaylock played T'Pol. She was in Enterprise,
I
right?
think so.
Was she?
Yeah.
I thought
She
you were
was
talking.
Vulcan.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. She
Yeah.
was. She was.
Had a shower scene in Enterprise. Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that was it's all coming back. That could be one of my favorite episodes. Right.
Yeah,
I like Enterprise for that reason.
I'm OG.
Yeah.
Yeah,
OG.
I'm OG. I mean, Uhura.
Yeah.
I keep going back to that because she was absolutely always my favorite. So
It broke so much ground.
Oh my God. So many barriers.
first interracial kiss.
Yeah, like
Right.
A
First
woman
Skippy.
in charge or
Right.
something. She was
Yeah.
an officer. All
Yeah.
great.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
I mean,
Yeah.
thank you, Lucille Ball.
You know what I'm saying? Desi Lou Productions.
Right.
Yipper.
Yeah.
But yeah, so what?
Well, see, mine was it was basically the next generation. I'll tell you why. I wasn't even going to give it a shot when it first came out because, like, this is Kirk. You got Spock.
Yeah.
Come on now, Spock gave his life for the crew. I mean, come on,
Man, that movie.
man. Yeah, it's still
The
breaking.
hands on the glass.
But I said, you know what? It had probably been out for a year, and I said, let me give it a shot. And since I'm a Navy veteran, they really focus on a lot of the military side of
Right.
the next generation.
Yep.
Which I was cool with. And we had Jonathan Frakes a couple of years ago. I literally told him, I said, I modeled my career in the Navy after number one.
No.
And he looked at me, he said, are you serious? I said, yes, sir. He said, well, why is that? I said, well, one, he was crazy intelligent. He was the second officer of the flagship of, the fleet.
Right.
He was the ladies' man.
Yep.
And I said, it was just, he was more relatable. He was like a real guy. You could approach him, for like a wine slushy or whatever. Jean-Luc, you might have to hit him with some Earl Grey.
Yeah.
But he was so relatable. And like I said, I tried to mimic my entire 21 years after him. Dude got up and gave me a hug. I was like, I wasn't expecting that, but okay.
That's
Frakes was an amazing.
Oh, my
gangster. He was incredible.
Yeah.
I see. I like Diana.
Okay.
I mean, come on.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I know why.
Yes, you do. Matter of fact, my poor wife has to deal with Wonder Woman, Diane, Uhura, and her.
Yeah.
Wow.
That's yeah.
And we would have had her as a guest, but I believe she lives in the UK now. So like a flight, first class flight from the UK to here is just crazy expensive.
I don't think there's a good enough hotel in Dalton to
Right. Right.
put her in Chattanooga. A really, really nice place.
Yeah.
Or my house. I mean, it's okay. I'll give up a vendor.
Yeah.
It sets the right way with the right people. I loved it. I mean, I didn't dislike it. I mean, I've watched them all. Deep Space Nine. I watched Enterprise, but I still always went back to the.
Yeah. I go back to the original, and it's one of those. Looking through my lens that was born in '83, I'm like, man, the acting's a little rough in spots.
Rough. It's horrible.
The effects, the dialogue, just everything. I'm like, I understand why it caught on and became popular and it spawned all the different series of movies. But it's tough to watch from this lens. And I will say, the OG was all about Kirk and Spock.
Oh, it was.
There were the side characters, right? They had certain points. Whereas I think Next Gen put more of a spotlight on some of the other characters where they had their complete arcs told, whether it be Data, Worf, Geordi, number one, Picard, all of them, Dr. Crusher, Wesley, they all had like story arcs that kind of came to a conclusion. Right. And then you introduce like the ultimate big bad in the board. And you have Q, like, oh man.
7 of 9.
Yeah. That's good. Yep.
Hey, she could be up there on the show stick. Yeah. Met her.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Then we met her in Orlando. At which one was that?
Yeah.
Still today.
Yeah. I agree.
So, what do you think about all the spinoffs, though, like Picard?
I think they really kind of messed up with Picard. Because didn't they kind of retcon it after like the first season, and they changed like what happened, and that actually didn't count or whatever. It was kind of clumsy and jumbled. I think they could have done it better. It was great seeing the characters come back and interact with each other, but I think they could have done it better.
They could have done a much better job.
Discovery was very hard to get into.
I could never get into Discovery.
Discovery.
I could.
What about all the new? What about?
Strange New Worlds, from what I've watched, is fantastic.
Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've only watched a few episodes, so I need to dive into it.
Yeah, I think Anson Mount does a great job as Pike.
Yeah.
There's always from the original story in Star Trek, you'd always see that episode with Pike, but what happened to him.
Right.
And going back into Strange New Worlds with that, you have so many. It tells exactly that story,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and that's what I liked about.
Are you a fan of Lower Decks?
Who doesn't like that?
Yeah, it's fun.
My wife, she's not really big on that, but she watches. She goes, "That is hilarious." And I'm like, "Right?" Because you never. I mean, what do those people do?
Right.
Now we know.
Yeah, we go.
Now they all get in trouble.
Yeah.
Do the things they ain't supposed to do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, but all right. So second day,
Yeah. So
I got to keep you guys. You're out of control.
I know we're crazy. We're all over the place. But yeah, so day one sets everything up. We introduce everybody to kind of the concepts. We have an interactive section where you can do away missions. We have a bounty board, fun interactive things where, we'll have photos of different people in cosplay walking around the convention, and people can go and find them and bring them, turn them into Watto's junk shop, and earn some gold, platinum, or galactic credits to buy prizes and things like that. So there's a lot of fun interactive things.
Okay.
We have a kids hallway, a whole 3 different rooms dedicated to just kids stuff. Carnival Day, make and takes, different things like that. Pokemon meet and greets. We have our panel room hallway with our main stage and everything that turns into our after dark portion after 9 o'clock. So we have an adult vendor hall, things like that. Adult comedy shows. Tom Arnold's doing a comedy show. Then we have our 2 exhibit halls. One has 120 vendors.
Whoa.
Then in exhibit hall 2, we got wrestling ring, fandom cars. We're doing phaser tag. It's a Star Trek thing.
That's awesome.
We're doing Nerf Wars, Jelly Ball. There's a reptile petting zoo, the Ecto one, the Mystery Machine, all those will be there. The 501st, Mandalorian Mercs,
Of course, those
Droid
guys,
Builders,
yeah.
they'll all be
They
there.
don't miss anything.
Yeah, no, those guys are great too. I met a guy this weekend at MomoCon. He had a chopper, and we spoke about Star Wars for probably an hour and a half. And he's got this really cool chopper that looks very to scale and right from Rebels, and it's beeping and moving around and stuff. But we're just talking about Star Wars. And the Filoni verse. We think Filoni will kind of do a good job with Star Wars. So
Did you bring the guys in by any chance that had the Enterprise deck?
No,
I think they're down in South Georgia, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I've actually, we know, so Vic Mignogna, he goes to that all the time. He did the Star Trek Continues thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I know of that. But
Yeah,
it'd be
I
cool
have
if they
pictures
could
of
bring
that, and that's where they had pictures of Uhura,
it. Yeah.
and behind her was the whole deck system.
You're right.
They're like, "Well, you should come up to Georgia." I'm like, "It's Georgia."
Yeah.
I'm good. Now I live here, and I'm like, "Oh,
Okay,
it was Florida." No, I'm just kidding.
But day 2 is the busy day. It's Saturday. That's when all the action happens.
Yeah.
That's when the bulk of attendees kind of come in. We kind of open up 9 a.m. to VIP, 10 a.m. to regular attendees. And that's when, all the stuff is going on. That's when the celebrities will have lines. We're doing pro photo ops, meet and greets. They're signing autographs, doing their panels. The Roger Christian one I'm going to go to. I don't care. You guys don't call me for nothing. I'm going to go sit in on that one. That's the only one.
Burn it down.
Right,
Leave me
that's
alone.
That's one of the only ones that I really kind of want to go into.
Okay.
We do the cosplay contest. People dress up. That's always a big part of our show. Just a lot of live action Mario Kart racing. I don't know if you've ever seen that, but we've got the RC.
Is
Carrera
Dalton
cars.
ready for you guys?
I don't know.
I don't think Dalton's ever had anything like
No.
this
They have none.
No.
ever.
No.
Dude, I said they don't realize what's going to happen.
No. And kind of the game plan for going to Dalton, because we've been at the Chattanooga Convention
Yeah.
Center, was one, to get us a little bit closer to the biggest convention market in the South, in Atlanta, right? 2, free parking. People complain about
Yeah.
parking at conventions.
But it's
all
going to
the
run
time.
out. That's my worry.
It will.
It will run out quick.
Overflow will be at, was it Dalton State?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dalton State. That's overflow.
Bus everybody over.
Yeah. And then more affordable hotel accommodations,
Oh yeah.
more places to eat that are more affordable within,
Walking distance.
really,
Cracker Barrel right across the street.
Red Lobster's right
Red
there.
Lobster's right there. Yeah.
Bojangles,
Yeah.
Chili's,
Yep.
yeah, all that stuff. So it's right there. So that's a plus. And we have the entire facility. So
That was my next question. Are you taking over everything?
everything.
They've never had anybody else do that.
Do it. Yeah.
They've not.
Yeah.
I've done
So-
several there, and it's like, oh, we're in the lower, we're in the upper, we're over here. I'm like, okay.
It's the whole thing, 140,000 square feet. And of course it's Dalton, so the price is nice for that facility in comparison. You don't have to deal with the downtown Chattanooga traffic.
Right. And that is horrible
Man,
all the time.
Yeah.
24, 75, like it's just terrible.
And you really have to, kind of drive out of your way if you want to find somewhere to eat.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're downtown.
Yeah.
So unless you got deep pockets.
Right. I don't even know, because is City Cafe back open? But they're not there. They're open, but they're not right there anymore.
In Dalton?
No.
Yeah, they reopened on Broad Street. They
On Broad Street. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah,
there's-
Dalton's got all kind of food. It's food row. Krispy Kreme donuts, best place in the world.
There you go.
I'm just saying.
That light's on. We're going.
Yep. That's it. We'll be right back. Me and Bob, we're going to do a donut run. We'll see you guys in about 30 minutes.
And what's crazy is you can eat a whole dozen of those things and not even know it.
Man.
Yep, I know. And especially hot,
Yeah.
gallon of milk.
They just melt in your mouth.
Yep.
Yeah.
People up north don't, well, they do now because now the Krispy Kreme's up there. But
Yeah.
my wife had never had a Krispy. She didn't know what Krispy Kreme's was.
Mm-hmm.
And we came down vacation and I took her to my dad's, and then I called Chattanooga and I was like, Krispy Kreme, you guys doing hot right now? Yeah, we just turned hot side on. I said, I put her in a van. We had a big old van back then. I said, we're going to go a journey. We're going to back road. And she goes, you're just going to dump me off in the woods. I'm like, nope,
No.
I'm not going to do that. So I got her over there. She opened that door and that smell hit her.
Oh,
She's
yeah.
like, because she's Dunkin' Donuts, all she's ever known. Dunkin' Donuts, right? Everybody's Dunkin' Donuts.
Yeah.
Her first thing had changed. She goes, it just literally changed my life.
Yeah.
I'm like, yep.
It will.
Because Dunkin' Donuts, aren't they frozen? They bring them in frozen.
Depends it depends if you're lucky enough to get the ones that are they're a store and a bakery.
Uh-huh.
You get it really nice. The other ones are all shipped in. By the time they get there, they're cold or
Yeah. Yeah.
like 9 seconds in the microwave. You can kind of get it warm because it's Dunkin' Donuts. Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan.
I know Afterlife loves them, but
Yeah.
he's repping them out and shit. But,
But-
so
Yeah,
back to
day two, a lot of panels. We do the after dark stuff starts at 9. We do karaoke for those that don't like the after dark stuff. That's not their thing. So you go and sing your heart out. I expect to see you there. Doing a little number.
so that means I can bring a flask and
Yeah.
I'm good. I want to get
Yeah.
the flask. I mean, I'm only 45 minutes from there. I just go right over the hill.
little liquid courage there.
Sometimes I don't even need that. Obviously, I just get up there and go. Oh, I'm gonna hurt everybody's ears now.
Yeah, but the live action Mario Kart racing, that's always a hit. For kids and adults.
Mhm.
Jedi training academies. You get a free lightsaber. We do the Harry Potter potions class, Harry Potter Defense Against the Dark Arts. There's multiple hypnotists comedy shows, and what's crazy, he's a chiropractor, so you can go to him and he'll crack you.
Crack and whack. You get it.
We have the massage geeks that'll be there. They're one of our vendors. They dress up in like Star Trek attire and give you massages.
Sweet.
So that's going to be fun. There's so much. It's hard to even like list everything. there's live music.
Your speaker, your breakouts are amazing.
Yeah.
I'm not just because we're doing one, but I went to the list. I was like, oh my god, these are really good.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of times you go, you listen to some guy that thinks he knows what he's talking about. You're like, oh my god.
Right.
Yeah, and the guy shows up 5 people in his room.
Yeah.
And it's like,
Well, that comes from my experience going to conventions. I can't stand going to a panel where it's just a guy talking to me for an hour. I can't do it. It needs to be interactive.
Yeah.
Like that's always one of our questions. Hey, what makes your panel interactive?
Right.
I need it to be interactive.
Yep.
We want this to be an experience for people.
yeah,
Anybody, if you want to just talk to somebody, go out in the hallway. And
yeah, you have a
Yeah.
conversation.
Yeah.
A little group of 5 or 6,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's as many years as we've been doing this. That's one thing that we try to entertain.
Yeah.
Like some people are like, I don't have visuals. Why do you not have visuals? What's wrong with you?
Right.
I mean, you just dumb, don't know how to do it.
Right.
Seriously.
Noob.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's like, nope. I want pictures up there, and like I'm not to boast or anything like that, but I got two of the best guys in the con world. I got Anthony Sykovich coming in, and he is you talking about Star Trek guy. Oh my God, he goes super deep, right? And I got Mark Muncie, and I've got Mark Muncie is one of the best cryptid guys and paranormal guys in the Southeast. He's been on Discovery, the whole 9 yards, and I just introduce and I just sit back and go, I'm the tech guy.
Yeah.
I'm the one that can prove it if it's real or not. That's all. Don't worry about me. Let them talk, and then they'll go. That's it. But yeah, but that's
So the paranormal stuff, I've always been into that.
Yeah.
And the ghost hunting.
yeah.
I think Taps really got me. You know, the show that came on Sci-Fi really. I was
Right out of New Haven, Connecticut.
Yeah.
Every one of them.
Okay. It got me really into that. So, you know, I'm buying the little EMF, the temperature gauge
Yeah.
and all that stuff. And we would go to cemeteries and take photos, and you'd find orbs and weird like plasma looking things in the photos. You take like an EMV.
EMP.
EMP.
Right? Yeah, electromagnetic. Yeah.
Voice, yeah.
EMP.
We would do that and ask questions, and you hear like creepy voices come back. And, you know, I got into that hardcore. We used to go to the Chickamauga battlefield all the time and do it, you know, you got of death there. Yeah. Green eyes, the lady in white or whatever. Yeah. So that's always fascinated me, even since before that. You know, so what about you guys? You into the Bigfoot, you know, the ghost side of it?
I'm into all of it. I mean, because there's just so many that's out there.
Yeah.
And the lore behind all of them, you know,
Skinwalkers, man.
Yeah.
The Tommy Knockers.
You know, Chupacabra.
And that's why we have Mark Muncie.
Yeah.
That dude, I'm telling you,
Knows it all.
how he knows, how he keeps it all in, and keeps it straight.
Yeah.
You know, like we do a show called Parageeks, and that show we did it before. We're bringing it back because I got RPG from Expedition Bigfoot, and I got Mark on 9 yards. Mark is going to be our truth sayer. He's like, okay, this is what it's supposed to be. And me and RPG are like going, all right, we're going to go out and just prove it.
Yeah.
Like, I will literally go in the Appalachian Mountains and go, I'm right here. Come get me. You know? But I'm a believer, but I'm a tech guy.
Right.
So if I can't explain it away, then it's real. But if I can explain it away, then I can explain it away.
He's a myth buster. He debunks things.
Well, and that's our whole premises behind the show. And we're going to pick on Big Inland Film. So I say it's fake.
Yeah.
Everybody's like, oh, it's real. I said, nope, that suit moves and you can see it right in the leg.
Yeah.
And that's what ruined it for me.
Yeah.
But I had experience when 9 years old in Annapolis, Missouri. We had a freaking Bigfoot family take our cabin and just destroy it.
Yeah.
And it wasn't bear because it was too high.
Right.
They couldn't get up that high. And I've never seen my uncles that scared in my life and my aunts. I mean, these are people that go hunt big bear and stuff like that, and they were scared. And then down the road is Piedmont, Missouri, which my other family lives in. And so every summer that we were there, we were always watching the skies because that's UFO capital. So I grew up in it, and then my dad was a preacher, so I've seen a lot of demons. So I have a whole paranormal side that I disagree with a lot of the paranormal world because I don't think there's such thing as a good ghost. I think they're all demon.
Yeah.
And they just know how to talk to you because they've been around this earth forever and they manipulate. Like you go to a psychic, that's a demon.
Yeah.
And
I can definitely see that perspective for sure. Yeah.
So now everybody's like, no, there's good ghosts. No, there's no such thing. That's just me. I mean, and everybody can have their own opinion. But I can prove it. So I can get, and we bring in all that gear. But we bring big boy gear in.
Yeah.
We use our phones, believe it or not. But I have the actual gear, and I'll tear a story apart in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Because I get into the underground stuff. I get into the building, the way it's manufactured, whole 9 yards, and cool spots, hot spots, all that kind of thing. So
do the infrared cameras and all that stuff.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Night vision. Yeah.
Can we all just agree that the most famous Bigfoot is Harry and the Henderson from Harry?
No, you ready for this? I'm gonna tell you where. I mean, you know where here is where the lore of Bigfoot started.
$6 million man.
Only you can stop forest fires.
It's not smoky.
Smokey the Bear.
He has fingers.
This is true.
Think about that.
Yeah.
Bears don't have fingers; they have claws, right? So we've been drip fed since the 50s.
Okay.
Right? And next thing you know, it's like, oh. And if you really want to get to it, they started drip feeding us in the land of the lost.
We can go down that.
Chaka, and it's a portal. Tachyon particles.
Okay.
Makes a portal. Go back and forth. They just go back to Chuckaland, and then they come over here and mess with us and go back to Chuckaland.
Yeah.
So there, think about that, because the new Chaka and the old Chaka, they're pretty good, right?
Right.
And you look at Chaka now, and it's like, oh, that's a baby Bigfoot.
That's a baby Bigfoot. All
Of
right.
course, the women were hotter. That's why you don't see females. You just always see males,
Right.
right? So,
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm again,
Yeah.
rabbit trail. I can do this all day long.
All day.
I'm here all day long. So third day,
Yeah. Just kind of winding down. It's the day where vendors, give you the deals and all that good
I
stuff.
want to carry this stuff home.
Right. That's when people go in and do that. Last minute photo ops and things like that with celebrities. There's still a lot of good panels and kid stuff going on. Then closing ceremonies, we'll do a special guest announcement for the next year, and we'll announce the theme for next year. And I'll go ahead and give that to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
So episode 7 will be the year of the gamer. So it's going to be a gaming theme. But like with all of our themes, it's still multi-fandom, right? There's
Right.
still going to be Star Wars guests, Star Trek guests, anime guests, all that good stuff.
Right.
We always like to bring in like a 70s TV star. Like last year we had Lou Ferrigno coming in. Yeah, so that was fun. He got to actually take him back to the airport
Yeah,
and
it was-
spend some time
It
with
was
him.
amazing,
Yeah.
to be in grandmother's living room,
Yeah.
the big floor model TV, this kind of corner on a shag rug,
Yeah.
and I'm watching, the Incredible Hulk, and now I'm sitting right next to him,
Yeah.
talking to. It was,
And he's super smart.
oh my god,
Yeah.
I mean, you would figure the actor, blah, 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 weightlifter kind of guy. Dude, no, that dude is brilliant.
Yeah, he is.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
So,
And
yeah.
he's still jacked.
he is.
Yeah.
Still jacked.
77,
Yeah.
But I mean, that's what Mark and I talked about early on is we want to have something for everybody.
Yeah.
Because we've talked, there's so many people who won't go to a convention. I ain't going to that because I don't want to dress up. We don't have to dress up.
Right.
Just come, experience, enjoy it. So when we have somebody, like Lou, or this year we've got Dirk Benedict, big time with Battlestar Galactica.
Oh, yeah.
And the 18. So that's going to appeal to some of the old heads, as we call them. And so,
We'll have the 18 band there. as well.
yeah. So something for everybody. Trying to bridge a gap.
Yeah.
Not just for young geeks.
The tweens.
Yeah.
It's
And,
for
Because a lot of them you go to, it's all tweens. You're like,
Right.
oh my God.
And it's well, I've said this many times. It's how do you get, because people that go to conventions, they're already into that stuff. They'll come, if you build it, they will come.
Yeah.
But how do you get the muggles to come out?
Right.
That's a good way of looking at it, right?
Mom and
Yeah.
dad with the kid. I think those weirdos that dress up, I don't want to go to that, So you got to find that common thread with them. I'm like, yeah, the nerd stuff is mainstream now. Did you watch the Marvel movies? You like Avengers? Okay, I've got something for you. Did you like Superman as a kid? Okay, I got something for you. Do you like music? I've got something for you.
For you.
A comedy show.
Shopping.
Right, shopping.
Plenty of vendors.
Do you want something for you and your kids? Kids 12 and under get in free. Bring the family out. Something for you to do on the weekend.
Right.
A lot of fun kids things, interactive things that you can do. There's a lot of family experiences, and we call it the experience, right? We want it to be an experience for somebody, not just those big cash conventions where there's a vendor hall and celebrities and that's it.
A couple ATMs over there.
Yeah.
Right, yeah.
You walk in, spend 2 hours.
MegaCon. I'm sorry.
Right. And there's just nothing else.
Never be asked back.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's just a little damn drive now. I'm okay with that.
But I feel like you got to provide more, bang for people's buck.
Yeah.
And that's why, with our ticket prices, they're much lower than most that you will see, because I want people to have more expendable income to spend at the convention.
Right.
That's one big complaint. Like at MomoCon, they're like, I'm kind of broke, and that you hear that a lot because this costs that. The hotels are $500 a
Yeah, you
night.
get 8 people sleeping in a hotel
Yeah.
because it's like, getting there.
Right.
And ain't nothing cheap in Atlanta
No.
at all.
No.
No.
I think I paid $30 a day for parking.
Yeah.
So that over the course of 4 days,
That adds up quick.
Even Kool-Aid was expensive.
you're right. You might not be able to get that autograph from that celebrity that
Right.
you wanted to.
Yeah.
So I always take that into consideration, free parking,
Yeah.
ticket prices, for a weekend pass at the door, it's right now it's $30. You know, you can go online and get it for $30. VIP is only $40.
That's awesome.
You know, and we have what's called METHROCON Forever. We did raise it up a little bit because we can't keep it, you know, cheap forever. But $400 gets you VIP forever for as long as we do it.
Right.
And there's a lot of special perks. So like the Tom Arnold comedy show, forever pass holders get in free to that, whereas normally you'd have to pay. It's a separate ticket item. The trivia with Tuvok, they get in free to that. They get special seating at all of our events, like the wrestling event. We do a METHROCON Forever luncheon for them at our host hotel, where we provide food and a place for them to mingle, have some adult beverages, that kind of thing. So there's a lot of extra perks,
That's awesome.
you know, for that thing.
So it's forever. So I mean, if you know, let's say we get to a point where we're like a Dragon Con,
Yeah.
and tickets are hundreds of dollars. Well, you're forever. Man.
You're in. You're good.
Dragon Con's eternal pass is like $4,500, $5,000, something like that. Yeah, it's crazy. I'd die before I would,
Yeah.
you know, get my money's worth. That.
You know what? Something we did, I know last year, and probably going into this one too. We have given away tickets. I mean,
Yeah.
just weekend pack given away, and a lot of people will say like, "Why are you giving them away? You know, that's wasting money." No, it's not. It's building relationships.
You betcha. Absolutely.
It's building relationships, and they'll come back because once they see the content, it's like,
Come and see it.
yeah,
Just give it a chance.
So it's kind of funny you bring up Dragon Con, because I went there when it was 8 rooms.
Yeah,
I mean, it was just sad. It was a sad little con. You're like, well, it's a little con that could, right?
Yeah.
But now they're like, was it 9 or 8 hotels? Or
yeah.
pay them.
90,000 attendees.
God have mercy. And then it's a walk.
Yeah,
You got to go out. You got to walk down the street and go into the next one.
your cardio better be on point.
And it better not be hot.
Yeah.
You better not have one of those really warm weekends, because when you get those, it sucks, or it rains.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
The only issue I have with that is once you get to that level and it's so spread out, you can't do everything that you want to do, right?
Not effectively.
One panel you want to go to is at the Westin, and the other one's at
3
the,
blocks away.
Yeah, and
4 blocks away.
Right.
it's already halfway over by the time you get there.
Yep,
It's
You have to pick and
so
choose.
spread out. You got to pick and choose what content you could.
Something like that needs to be over in at the I'm not sure what the convention center over is called, but
the Georgia World Congress Center is. is
that's
big enough.
that's when you move into there,
Yeah,
right? You know, but I get what they're doing.
yeah. No, I 100%.
And that's, you know,
It's a working model. They're doing it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
they're making money.
and they're making money,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, and that's the thing. So a lot of people don't, you know, you hear a lot of the guys, oh, this is just a money grab, and you know, but it's really not. I mean, this is something that I personally, and I've said it's for years, I think there needs to be 2 cons a month,
Yeah.
all year long, somewhere. Something solid, right? That everybody can count on.
Yep.
And if you can't make this one, you get to make the next one, right? Because you know, and I know these kids. I mean, my own kids were like, well, it's Mega or Tampa Bay.
Right.
You know, we got to pick one. Or there's a Holiday Mansouri thing that's in Orlando, something like
Yep.
that. I'm not trying to give love to everybody else,
Yeah.
but these kids are like, and they're poor. I mean, they're not. They're they're making $15-20 an hour, and you know, got a hotel. I mean, they got to get a hotel. They got to get travel there.
Right.
They got to eat while they're there. You want them to shower while they're
Exactly.
there. You don't want them sleeping in your cars,
Right.
which they do, which is horrible. And you know, and it sounds like to me you've taken that account and going, okay, you know what? We'll make it affordable.
Right.
Now they're going to come. They're going to come every year.
Yep.
And they may buy that they may go, you know, I'm saving up for that $400 pass
Yeah.
because that is a good deal, right?
Yeah.
And then your vendors are like, hey, look, thanks for doing what you did at the door. I'm always going to be here.
Yeah.
So you get your vendors always coming back. And your guests, I'm always coming back. I'm always going to be here for you. And that, to me, is bigger than anything.
Yeah. And the reason why we do it is for the love of it. Like most people, unless you're a Dragon Con or something to that level, conventions aren't profitable.
No.
It takes a
not.
lot of logistical stuff
I'm
behind the
not
scenes.
surprised you're not
Yeah.
skinnier than you are.
Right.
Honestly. I'm just saying.
Right.
I've seen some of those guys,
Yeah.
and they're pretty thin. I'm
Yeah.
like, dang, dude, you need to eat. Well, I'm putting the corn on. Oh, never
Yeah.
mind, I understand.
It's a lot of work. You know, it's very time consuming.
Yeah.
You know, and you got to love it. You know, I
You
think that's with anything in life. You got to love what you do.
So tell everybody at home.
Yeah.
Where can we go get tickets and the dates real quick? You got
Yeah.
about a minute left.
So, METHROCON Episode 6, Trek Wars, go to METHROCON.com, go to the tickets tab, get your tickets now. June 1st, they do go up slightly. Currently, you can get a weekend pass for $30, VIP for $40. It's coming up June 20th through the 22nd at the Dalton Convention Center in Dalton, Georgia. Something for everybody. It's a great experience. Bring the family out. It's going to be a lot of fun.
I want to thank you guys for coming in. And I know it's been hard because me and your girl have been going back and forth. Gotta get them in here. Gotta get them in here.
Yeah.
Especially because we want to play this. We will literally play this for the next couple of weeks, just be able to push to show. We'll kind of do our own shows on the side. But I do want to thank you. I am excited to be a part of it.
Yeah.
I think we have a booth as well as we're going to be speaking a couple of times, and we haven't decided what we're going to. I mean, it's up to you guys. We can either paranormal, Bigfoot. That's my favorite. Or we can do the Turk. I mean, we can do both. Anyway, thanks for watching, everybody. We appreciate it. We'll see everybody in a couple of weeks on Nerd Talk. We'll let this run for a couple of weeks to keep you reminded of where to go. See you next week.